The WWE brand and the grand stage it provides is quite hard to resist, but there are several pro wrestling superstars who manage to turn down the lucrative contracts that Stamford, Connecticut sends their way. In fact, the scenario in All Elite Wrestling would have been very different if these big names joined WWE. How would Dynamite explode if it didn't have these explosive talents? Yeah, we're going to use a lot of pyrotechnic references in this video. I'm Kevin Kellum, and here are 5 AEW wrestlers who turned down offers from the WWE. Team Taz is currently a mainstay on AEW television and consists of some promising young talent led by everyone's wisecracking human suplex machine Taz. And that is Taz with 1 Z. The 2Z Taz worked in WWE. Will Hobbs is one of Taz's toughest talents in his orange and black flock, and at 30 years old, he has a lot of years left in the tank. In his appearance on the AEW Unrestricted podcast, Hobbs revealed that he had a WWE tryout a while ago, but didn't make it in the end. Later, WWE contacted him for a deal, only after he had a match in AEW. According to Hobbs, the WWE tryout was good, but they didn't have anything for him at the time. Immediately after he appeared on All Elite Wrestling, WWE once again tried to get in touch with Hobbs for a potential contract. He straight up refused WWE's offer as he felt the company was just trying to get him in a deal to prevent him from working with AEW. He's currently aligned with Team Taz, and his future in AEW looks promising. Number 4. Hangman Adam Page. An interesting aspect of Adam Page is that he is one of AEW's talents who are, for most part, a homegrown name, not already established with other big promotions like Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. It was clear from the beginning that AEW had big plans for him. I mean, he faced Jericho to crown the first ever AEW World Champion. Interestingly, Page rejected an offer from the WWE not too long before signing with AEW. According to Hangman, WWE put a lot of effort into approaching him to the point that he actually considered agreeing to the deal. Imagine seeing Horseman Adam Pager debuting on an episode of NXT. After all, every wrestler at one point wants to get the rub from WWE, and as a fan of pro wrestling since childhood, Page thought of that as a possible platform for him. Eventually, he rejected the deal and went to AEW with the rest of the Elite faction. Hangman was a surprise entrant in the Casino Battle Royale at AEW Double or Nothing 2019. He ended up winning the whole thing, eliminating MJF. Page was then given the shot at the newly formed AEW World title, but failed to defeat Chris Jericho at All Out. He later won the AEW World Tag Team titles with Kenny Omega, and may very well be the one to take the AEW World title off of Omega in the future. Yeah, that story could really blow up for him. Boom! Explosive callbacks. Told you to be ready for these references. Number 3, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. One look at the AEW star MJF is enough for fans to realize that this guy has it. And by it, we mean he pisses you off. WWE legend Jim Cornette, who usually has nothing but criticism for AEW, has praised the young brash superstar on several occasions. He is currently one of the biggest heels in the business and a leader of the bad dude faction, the Pinnacle. Last year, MJF opened on his decision to sign with AEW over WWE. He believed that WWE would try to change his character, and he believes this is the way he wants to handle himself currently in AEW. Quote, "It's just a fact. They would try to change me, and there's nothing to change," MJF stated. MJF's first major feud in AEW was with ex-mentor Cody Rhodes, which ended with MJF picking up the big win over the AEW EVP on pay-per-view. He possesses excellent mic skills, is fully capable of producing a great pro wrestling outing anytime he's in the ring, and at just 25 years old, MJF has a long road ahead of him and is currently going to be in line at some point to be an AEW champion in the next few years. Or maybe he finds his way to WWE in the future. There's a lot to be seen for MJF. Time is on his side to blow up big. Boom! Even more explosive references. You gotta be ready. Number 2, Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega was one of the biggest stars to sign with AEW. The promotion made it a point to promote their first AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view match against Chris Jericho as their main attraction for weeks on end, finally culminating in a big blockbuster #1 contenders match at the show. In early 2019, Omega explained in an interview why he chose to sign with AEW. According to Omega, WWE was fantastic, professional, and courteous in the way they dealt with him, but he felt AEW presented something he couldn't beat. Omega added that AEW feels like the true platform for him to be creative and be the type of professional wrestler he wants to be. Yeah, it does not hurt that Omega is the AEW, AAA, and Impact World Champion right now. That's probably a part of it. Kenny Omega certainly made a wise decision by signing with AEW, and to WWE, he simply said goodbye, good night, and bang! Boom! You didn't even know I was going to work in that explosive reference. That's Kenny Omega's catchphrase. You had to be ready for that one. Number 1, Jon Moxley. Current AEW star Jon Moxley was fed up with the way he is being handled on WWE television, and by the time 2018 was approaching its end, he had made a decision. He was going to stick with it no matter what was happening. In early 2019, Wade Keller of PW Torch reported that Moxley had a meeting with WWE Chairman Vince McMahon, and he was offered a 5-year extension, which included a raise, but he ended up turning the offer down. Moxley didn't flinch one bit, and parted ways with WWE months later with the send-off of several televised matches. Moxley came out following Chris Jericho's win over Kenny Omega at AEW's first pay-per-view event and attacked both stars to a massive crowd reaction. Last year, Moxley defeated Jericho to become the second ever AEW World Champion and held it for several months before dropping the title to a new villainous Kenny Omega on AEW Dynamite. Moxley would later try to regain the AEW World title in an exploding barbed wire death match on pay-per-view. Boom! Another explosive reference. Oh yeah, remember the way that match ended? It wasn't that explosive if you remember the way that match ended. Yeah, the fireworks kind of fizzled out there for a bit. Sorry to bring that up. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's safe to say that Moxley doesn't regret his decision going to AEW at all. And that's it for our list today. What did you think? Is there a pick that you would like to see jump from WWE to AEW? Is there an AEW star you'd like to see go to WWE? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling here on YouTube with your notifications on so you know when we drop fresh videos.